Now, flooding for one Wisconsin community has reached a breaking point for some residents. And the chocolate shop ice cream company reopened today on Atwood Avenue amid a legal battle with the building's new owners. Plus, the Madison Dry Hooch is partying in an effort to raise money for a new van.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 10. I'm Amanda Quintana. We start tonight with news just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Authorities are responding to a fire at a two-story house on Highway MN in Cottage Grove. Dispatch says the call came in shortly after 9 o'clock. We will continue following this story as it develops. While flooding has been a temporary issue for multiple Wisconsin communities this year, one town says they haven't gotten a break. Adam Duxter spent time with the Crystal Lake community that says the water is only getting worse.
Yeah, well, Amanda, flooding in Crystal Lake has not only been an issue historically, it's also historically bad this past year. Folks who showed me around today say they're running out of patience.
All this berming was put in all the way around that you see the berming.
Bill McFarland is worried that his home at Shep's Resort on Crystal Lake is becoming more in danger with each and every drop of rain.
Well, we're nervous. We're afraid that Dale might throw the towel in and close this place down, and then everybody here loses their dream. Everybody.
Bill and others like neighbor Beth Stelberg have been here for years. When it's dry, they say it's beautiful. And even though there's a history of flooding here, they say it's never been anything like this.
We have a new weather trend. Last year we had a lot more rain. This year we had a lot more rain. And because we have basin lakes, they have no place to drain. So we have to figure out some way to get rid of this water.
One of their sons had developed it.
Today I toured the resort with both Bill and Beth and saw the impacts the floods have had on Crystal, Fish, and Mud Lake, which are now beginning to run into one another.
You can't get into our resort because the road into our resort is flooded. There are more trailers flooded. 8 people have lost their homes.
This is what we ended up with.
The residents here have been asking for relief for months now. On Monday, the town will meet again with representatives from the DNR and the state. Bill says a solution can't come soon enough.
Every day we pump, and we can't pump enough fast enough to take the water level down. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because they say pump, we pump, but the rain comes down faster.
Faster and harder, leaving this community searching for hope.
It's to the point now where people's businesses and livelihoods are being destroyed.
Bill McFarland told me he's called several community groups, including Columbia County Emergency Services, the DNR, the governor's office, the National Guard, and he's been asking them to come to Monday's meeting. He says one thing is for sure, the lakes are rising faster than the pumps can get this water out.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. Let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast. Many of our areas, Dave, really need a break from this rain.
Yeah, now Madison with today's rain is over 40 inches for the year with still about 3 months to go to add to that rain and snow wise. And really this is after last year, Madison seeing the wettest year in modern times with over 50 inches of rain. So we definitely could use a break, and luckily I do think that break is on the way in the form of a cold front coming through the area tonight. It is clearing us out eventually. We're still looking at cloudy skies in Madison, but the drizzle and fog is gone, at least on the weather patio, so that's good news. Temperatures are actually rising a bit in the upper 50s in Madison and in Lone Rock and Boscobel. Wind speeds are out of the south now at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. The gusty winds have shifted a little bit farther to the east. It'll still be breezy tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the lower to middle 60s. I'll let you know how long that sunny fall stretch of weather will last in your first alert forecast.
Thank you, Dave. More local news now. 3 men are in custody after police were investigating a burglary. Shorewood police were in the 2800 block of Cimarron Trail, towing a car from a recent burglary when 4 men exited a house but went inside when confronted by police. Shorewood police called Madison police for assistance, but while waiting for help, the men ran off. MPD set up a perimeter and all 3 men were taken into custody. A Wanakee man seen on dash cam video kicking a Portage police officer in the head and knocking him unconscious was sentenced to 3 years in prison yesterday. 22-year-old Jacob Hellenbrand Bell was caught on video kicking an officer after another officer tried to arrest him back in April of 2018. Hellenbrand Bell kicked Sergeant Eric Walters in the side of the head during the scene, leaving him unconscious for more than 2 minutes. In June, Hellenbrand Bell pleaded no contest to a felony charge of battery to a law enforcement officer as part of a plea deal in Columbia County Court. A woman who was also hitting and kicking officers in this incident reached a plea agreement in January and was sentenced to 2 years of probation. Around the state, people living at a homeless camp in downtown Milwaukee have been told they have to leave by the end of the month. Yesterday, notices passed out give the more than 60 people living beneath the I-794 overpass until October 31st to move. The notice also provided occupants with resources for shelters and services that are available in the Milwaukee area. A DOT spokesperson says the occupants have to leave because work will begin soon on a joint DOT City of Milwaukee green infrastructure project under that freeway. The chocolate shop was scooping ice cream again today at its Atwood Avenue location. The business was granted temporary approval to return and reopen. This comes after a dispute between the ice cream shop and the owners of the building. The new building owner says the chocolate shop's lease ended on September 30th, and there's not a lease agreement between them. The chocolate shop filed a lawsuit this week. The new owners intend to start their own ice cream shop at that location. After a fire started by kitchen towels at Stalzy's Deli this past April, the shop is giving back to the firefighters who saved it. They're thanking the Madison Fire Department by raising funds through Oktoberfest. In the 9th year of the event, the annual raffle will now donate 100% of funds raised to the fire department. Deli owners say they hope the money will improve the number of resources available to the fire department in order to increase its impact and outreach.
We thought, the Madison Fire Department did us a huge favor by getting here quickly and putting out the fire swiftly, and anything that we can do to pay that back and pay them back, we certainly wanted to do.
Money raised is specifically going to the fire department's mobile integrated health program, a new program aimed at giving emergency medicine during home visits and offering local resources. Over at Aldo Leopold Nature Center, they were busy with their biggest fundraiser of the year today. It was Pipers in the Prairie, featuring bagpipers, drums, silent auction, food, and more. The rain may have stopped them from lighting up the sky with a bonfire, but it didn't stop them from raising money for children's environmental education.
It's important for kids to get outside and get connected to the land, because without that connection, first of all, if they don't develop it at an early age, it's less likely they'll develop it later in life. And if you don't have a connection to the earth, you're not going to care for it. You're not going to work to protect it.
The money goes toward things like field trips, summer programs, vacation programs, and more. They also unveiled the new preschool and remodeling nature center, Discovery Lane. The community came together tonight to raise money for area veterans. The Madison Dry Hooch fundraiser included music, food, and more. The Veterans Organization is hoping to raise enough money to replace its vehicle, which is more than 20 years old. It gives 190 rides per month to veterans. Funds also go into programs to benefit veterans.
It's huge because they're dealing with all kinds of complications coming home from war. Their families are being approached, so they need help.
Madison Dry Hooch is a nonprofit aimed at bringing together veterans in a coffeehouse environment. Still to come on News 3 Now at 10, an animal sanctuary in Waushara County is helping save the life of an emu after it was shot. We'll meet Charlie the emu after the break.
It's
An emu is recovering from gunshot wounds after allegedly being shot by a Waushara County Sheriff's deputy. Gabriella Becerra shares the story of how this exotic bird came to find a home with other animals in Coloma.
Pigs, horses, chickens, even Billy the goat.
We've rescued a lot of things.
But their first emu.
Charlie is mesmerizing.
The story of how Charlie came to find a home at Sunny Boy Animal Sanctuary may be just as exotic as she is. This is how owners say it happened. The Waushara County Sheriff's Office received calls of an emu on the loose. A sanctuary board member was also at the scene and told the deputy that the owners were bringing supplies to take the animal home. That's when a van pulled up.
A van pulled up behind the cop car and said that it was a friend of hers, and she didn't want anybody to get hurt, so she wished it was just shot instead of captured because they do fight.
Kopak says she saw the deputy shoot the bird twice. Sanctuary owner Natalie Helmer arrived at the scene just about a minute later. They thought it was too late until they saw her.
Here she comes walking through the tall grass. And it was like, there she is, there she is, there she is.
Helmer and Kopak carried Charlie home.
She had obvious gunshot wounds. We didn't know where, but we could see the blood in her feathers.
Helmer says they took the emu to UW-Madison Animal Hospital, where she says Charlie was quite popular. Now Charlie is recovering at Sunny Boy Animal Sanctuary.
It'll take time to heal and get back, and that gives us time to understand we got to make some changes now.
And time to learn more about an emu.
Literally learning, because it's only been a couple days, so with the help of the vets, and they're learning, telling us, and which is what's so important about any animal that's rescued.
For now, among the pigs, horses, chickens, and goats,
Charlie is here to stay.
Charlie has a home. In Coloma, Gabriella Becerra, News 3 Now.
News 3 Now reached out to the Waushara County Sheriff's Department. We're told the sheriff was unavailable for a comment today, but if you're interested in donating to Charlie or another animal's recovery, we have that information on channel3000.com. 100 cities across the nation are empowering women today for Girls in Aviation, an event targeted at teaching girls the basics of airplanes. Dane County's Four Lakes chapter of the Women in Aviation International brought together 40 girls ages 8 to 11 to learn about aviation communication, navigation, and to play interactive games and sit in some of the airplane's cockpits. Event organizers say less than 7% of people in aviation are women. It's not that women aren't interested in aviation, but rather they're not exposed to it.
They've never seen someone that looks like them, perhaps, flying a plane. So that's why we think it's so important for girls to see, hey, there are a bunch of women pilots out there and you can be a pilot too.
We're coming to see girls, learning about girls flying planes. We wanted to be a pilot. Yeah.
Beyond the basics of flying a plane, the girls learned about careers in STEM fields. Governor Tony Evers proclaimed today Girls in Aviation Day for the state of Wisconsin. Event officials say they hope he'll do the same next year. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today people around Madison drove cars to help raise money for the cause. This is the 11th year Bergstrom Automotive hosted Drive for a Cure. For each mile people drive in one of their cars, Bergstrom donates $1 to breast cancer research and an additional $5 for every social media like.
We did this just because there were so many people affected by cancer, and especially breast cancer. We wanted to do something to help. Mr. Bergstrom and the company decided that this was a great way to utilize all the assets that we have as a company, the car dealerships that we have, and make a fun event where people could get involved.
Over the past 10 years, the company raised more than $500,000 for breast cancer research. They're also hosting Drive for the Cure events at their Oshkosh and Appleton locations this month. Well, I'm sure a lot of them had to have their windshield wipers on today, Dave. It was quite rainy, but hopefully some sunshine coming.
Yeah, finally, after a week filled with rain, and the start of October has been a very rainy one, historically rainy in some spots. Like in Madison, close to 4 inches of rain in just the first 5 days of October. Only Friday was the only dry day we've had so far to start the month. Another ½ inch of rain in Madison today at the airport. Other spots just to the west picked up an estimated inch to about 1.5 inches in some spots across southwestern Wisconsin. The good news is on Doppler track, we are quieting down as a front moves through the area tonight, and that means all the drizzle and light shower activity that was around this evening is starting to come to an end in spots like Madison. Still could be a few showers east of Madison over the next hour or two, but I do think we'll see a clearing trend with our skies during the overnight hours, setting up that sunshine for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Here's our time lapse in Madison. Just in time for the Badger game, we got those showers. Some of them were actually a little bit on the heavy side at times. And then by the time we got to earlier this evening, we did see a bit of a clearing trend before that drizzle and fog set up. But again, things are improving in the weather department tonight. Madison and the Edgewater Skycam looking at cloudy skies, but again, that fog and drizzle has lifted over the last hour or so. Today's high temperatures are actually going up have been going up over the last couple of hours. So our high now at 57 degrees, still about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Other high temperatures, 60 in Watertown, 63, one of the warm spots in Janesville, 54 in Mineral Point, and 59 in Boscobel. Right now, those temperatures are pretty close to their daytime highs for some of us, still in the upper 50s across much of the area tonight. So we'll see those temperatures continue to dip through the 40s, but as far as high temperatures go, we'll be right around 60 degrees as we head into the next couple of days. But even though we were pretty close to that today, you could say in some spots, it will feel a lot better thanks to that sunshine. We really need to hang on to that sunshine as long as possible to get rid of hopefully some of those flooding concerns that some of us are still seeing. Temps in the mid-50s or mid-40s for tonight. Some wishful thinking on my part. Clearing overnight, and then as we get into tomorrow, not the 50s, but the 60s return to southern Wisconsin. Mostly sunny, breezy, not as cool outside, so feeling better overall. We can see those clouds on their way out over the next couple of hours, starting off with mostly clear skies on Sunday and lots of sunshine. A little bit on the breezy side, but overall it's going to feel better with that sun. Starting off in the 40s once again for Monday, and not too many clouds showing up for Monday, with temperatures in the lower 60s and some upper 50s as well, hovering right near that 60-degree mark. And we can say the same for Tuesday, maybe a few more clouds on Wednesday, but still dry with temperatures in the mid-60s. Then into Thursday and Friday, some showers and thunderstorms possible. And a cold front comes through on Friday and really rocks our world in some spots, because we're going from the 50s into the 40s for highs, 30s for lows, and that could mean some frost for some of us on Friday night and Saturday night.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you so much, Dave. Yes, the UW football team won big today, but the women's hockey team dominating. Highlights coming up next in sports.
Well, the Badgers women's hockey team off to a strong start, and you can definitely feel the excitement at LeBron Arena as the defending national champions play their first home series of the 2019-2020 campaign. Going for the sweep against Penn State, we pick it up in the third period, up 1-0 already. Presley Norby to Caitlin Schneider in the left circle. The snipe, 2-0 Wisconsin 54 seconds in. 2:30 left in the game. Daryl Watts with the puck up here, tapping in the deflection for her second goal of the game. First multi-goal game for her in her Wisconsin career. Badgers with a shutout weekend, 3-0, the final score tonight. Kristen Campbell, 22 saves. Second shutout of the season already. Badgers head to Ohio State next week. Wisconsin trying to play the most complete game possible today because no matter the opponent, you still got to stay on top of your game, especially halfway through the season, almost halfway through the season now. We pick it up in the second quarter. Badgers already up 14-0 thanks to JT. Jonathan Taylor making his case for the Heisman, punching it in 21-0 Wisconsin. Next Badger ball, Jack Cohn tosses to JT again. Yep. He can catch two, 18-yard score, his fourth receiving touchdown on the season. He actually leads that category on the team so far. Second half here, Cohn floating one into the end zone. Jake Ferguson with the one-handed grab. Nice poise there. 41-0 Wisconsin. Starters out now, fourth quarter. Graham Mertz handing off to Jack Dunn. First career touchdown for the Edgewood grad. Wisconsin looking unstoppable today on both sides of the ball. 48-0 the final score. Zach Bond, career high 3 sacks, and Chris Orr with 2 of them for the second straight game. Now this defense has only allowed 4 touchdowns through 5 games. With more from Camp Randall, here is Jay Wilson.
Someone asked me, why are the Badgers playing Kent State? Well, Kent State got a $1.1 million guarantee, that's why. And for the Badgers, it worked out pretty well, too. Jonathan Taylor had another huge day. 19 rushes, 189 yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. 3 receptions, 29 yards, and another touchdown. And he passed Melvin Gordon for 3rd place on the Badgers' all-time rushing list.
We were really good at being thick on blocks, so it's kind of easy. It gave you two-way goes. You can go left, you can go right. Our guys were square, toe-to-toe with guys, and it kind of made it easy. Still a long way to go, but we'll continue to try and be, as efficient as possible.
That's awesome to be able to do that and execute. I mean, with us in, I think we were 7 for 7 touchdowns, so it's awesome for our offense.
And that number 1 ranked Badger defense will stay number 1 ranked. They allowed only 124 yards. They had 9 sacks, and for the 3rd time this season, allowed the opponent 0 points.
A lot of guys buying into what we're trying to do. A lot of good leaders on this team, passing down the message from the coaches, and it's getting well received.
Obviously what they've done has been impressive, and it's also, it's going to be more challenging as we continue to go and get back into conference play. But I like what Jimmy and the defense staff have been doing, giving them the plan, but the guys are owning it.
And one more thing about this extended run by the Badgers defense. In their last 6 games, including the Pinstripe Bowl last year, they've allowed only 32 points. That's an average of 5.3 per game. At Camp Randall Stadium, Jay Wilson, News 3 Now Sports.
Elsewhere in the Big Ten, the Fighting Lovey Smiths at the Golden Gophers, Minnesota, trying to stay undefeated. Second quarter here, Tanner Morgan fires it to Tyler Johnson. Minnesota takes the lead. Later, handoff to Shannon Brooks. He'll take care of the rest. 21 yards to the house, 16-7 Golden Gophers. Minnesota running away with the game literally after that. 40-17 the final to move to 5-0. Elsewhere around the conference, top 25 matchup between Iowa and Michigan. Not a lot of scoring, but the Wolverines hang on. And Nebraska squeaking by Northwestern. Wildcats are winless in the Big Ten. Maryland winning big over Rutgers, and Ohio State with a big second quarter against Michigan State. Badgers will host the Spartans for homecoming next weekend. Finally tonight, some upsets in the top 25 today. Texas Tech beating number 21 Oklahoma State 45-35 in Lubbock, Texas. Red Raiders quarterback Jet Duffy passing for 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, at the Swamp, 10th-ranked Florida handing number 7 Auburn its first loss of the season. Should account for some movement in the top 25 AP polls. Big win for the Wisconsin volleyball team. They swept number 2 Nebraska tonight at the Fieldhouse. We'll be right back.
Former and longtime Badger band director Mike LaCrone made an appearance at today's game. LaCrone conducted varsity after the game for the Badger band and the thousands of fans remaining at the game. LaCrone retired after 50 years in the position this May, but even as Corey Pompey takes the reins of the program, LaCrone is still obviously looking to be a part of the band. I know fans were really excited about that.
Yeah, that was really cool to see in person. I was there at the game today, and it was rainy as I predicted, and I was upset that I was correct, but we did see that rain move out this evening, and we'll see the sunshine for tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, with temperatures right around 60. We got the showers and thunderstorms to return late on Thursday.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.
Hardee's